Brian, what do you see, buddy? Is that your buck?
Yes. You lied to me.
And at last light, the king of the jungle comes right at us. That is so unbelievable. My dream is to hunt for a living and spend every day that I can in the wild. So I live my adventures through my camera to share them with you. I've never been the poster child, and I wasn't the valedictorian. I'm just an everyday farm boy, but I get some of the greatest hunting footage you'll ever see. My name is Cody Robbins, and I live to hunt. How exciting was that? How exciting was that?
Live to Hunt with Cody Robbins is proudly presented by Nosler, up front.
Well, we got kind of a deer that we're pretty familiar with over the last few years. We actually tried stalking this deer last year in the next ravine over. Big old mature heavy frame deer, ripped in his ear, and he's just a cool deer. He's in a really good spot to sneak him, so we're gonna go give him a go.
I need to help Shane a little bit on the introduction to this, because the way I explained it to Shane is Live to Hunt hasn't been doing very well in the last month. and what we need is a momentum changer, you know? Like when the coach sends out the fighter in the second period, like the Steve McIntyre, to change the momentum of the game and get the ball rolling so goal scorers, kind of like me, can go do our thing once the momentum changes. So Shane
Is the fighter.
is our Steve McIntyre.
It's hard to believe, but
And I don't even know why we're putting this buck in this category, because he's a beauty. He doesn't score 500 inches, but he's a beauty. He's a massive old buck. He's got a big rip in his ear. And we filmed him for 3 different years, so it's gonna be cool to sneak up on him. Shane, I wish you luck, bud.
thanks.
Get your knuckles out.
He's a pretty cool looking buck. Got a flyer on the side, he's got little velvet still hanging off the tips of his horns. He's really heavy, like he's just a big old mature buck.
Watching this buck run over the hill wasn't just one stalk gone awry. It was another failed attempt to add to Shane Hunter's 3-year horror novel of trying to fill his archery mule deer tag. But since Shaner is the so-called enforcer on the team now, he would have no choice but to roll with the punches. And honestly, this situation wraps up 99% of what hunting season really is. How many years is it gonna take?
I don't know.
To get that buck or to get you a buck? It's hard to know that we do this every day. So we're not doing very well. Let's not dwell on it, let's go.
I see you still have your shoes on too.
Shane, it wasn't my feet, it was your armpits that blew that one.
Right.
Our hunting season consists of early mornings, late nights, and long hours working towards the ultimate goal. Hunting with different people every day, sometimes putting multiple weeks in between each big moment that unfolds. Are you comfy? Yeah. Oh yeah. scouting, building blinds, and preparing, you can only do so much. And beyond that, success lies in the hands of Lady Luck.
Cross your fingers.
It's mind-boggling how much time is really put in before a person is rewarded with one of those special moments in the wild.
Live to Hunt with Cody Robbins is brought to you by Vortex, the force of optics. Prophet River Firearms, your source for the finest firearm. 10 Point Crossbow Technologies, there is no substitute. And by Sugar Creek Taxidermy, award-winning design.
I'm introducing you to the 10 Point Crossbow. Okay, buddy? Okay, now it's ready to shoot. Top pin, center of the Live to Hunt decal. Dead duck. Dead center. Okay, Brian. You just graduated into Crossbowville. Now we're going to sit in a blind for a whitetail buck. And I don't know if we're going to get one, but we're going to a very good spot, so. Hey, Brian. You know one of the reasons your cousin Kelsey chased me till I wouldn't run anymore?
Why?
Because I shot a 10-point crossbow.
Really?
Yeah, and I could shoot bullseyes every shot.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was my looks too, I think.
Oh yeah.
Brian. Ready, buddy? Yeah. Just a little thing that I do to make sure I look good. You just take my middle fingers. Just dab a bit and then make sure your eyebrows are just perfect.
Okay.
It's kind of, I don't really tell everybody that. It's kind of a secret.
Like that?
The days throughout the fall that I get to spend with young rookie hunters are some of the ones I enjoy the most. Everything is fresh to them. They appreciate every encounter, even the ones that someone like myself may take for granted. When this gorgeous buck appeared to our right, my mind boiled over with confusion. There were 3 deer at this particular stand that I had put on the forbidden list, bucks that had great potential to become giants down the road, and this was one of them. I interrupted Brian's rush of adrenaline by telling him we couldn't shoot this deer. He glared back at me like I had just ran over his dog. I began second-guessing my decision, but knew there were better bucks in the area, so I stuck to my guns. Brian, second night in the blind. I just want to know if you're gonna forgive me for not letting you shoot that buck last night.
I'll forgive you.
Were you pretty excited when you walked in?
Yeah.
We're gonna have the best luck ever tonight, buddy.
Yeah.
I hope. Minutes after getting quiet on day 2, the gamble was about to pay off, and one of those rare big moments was unfolding. big one, Brian. That's a monster, buddy. That is a monster. Are you excited? Give me a high fiver. 10 Point Crossbow. Yeah. Good shot, pal. See the blood? Okay, just follow. I just got to those poplars and I quit. If I better come get you, we'll just follow it.
There's some more. Some more. Some more.
Hey, Brian. How was your shot?
Felt good.
Did it?
I was steady and everything.
Okay, keep following that trail. Brian, what do you see, buddy?
A deer.
Is that your buck?
Yes. You lied to me.
Brian! Look how big he is. That's a monster. Brian, you're supposed to be a rookie. You're not supposed to win the Stanley Cup when you're a rookie. Brian. Oh. Brian, that's a monster 4-pointer, buddy. Are you happy?
Very.
Good for you, pal. Look at that buck. You know how big that deer is? That's a monster, bud. He comes over to the fence, hops it, and walks right out in front of us. And I look at Brian and say, Brian, get ready. And Brian goes, is he big enough? Is he big enough? Because I wouldn't let him shoot that buck yesterday because he has such great genetics. And I had to promise him that we'd get a buck just as big, and we got one bigger. What a beauty. Brian, look how big his brow tines are. Isn't he awesome?
Awesome.
So tell me about your very first big game hunting experience. Is it something that's going to stick with you or what?
Oh, definitely. I'd just like to thank Cody for coming and getting me all those mornings and evenings. And
Well, Brian, it's my pleasure, buddy. I think I get more of a thrill out of taking young fellas like you hunting than I do waiting for a big old buck for myself. It's a thrill to hear your heart pound and get your adrenaline, and your anticipation is just as great a feeling for me. So thank you for coming.
yeah,
Congratulations. You made a fantastic shot. You're going to be a champ right from the start. What a gorgeous whitetail buck. Brian, congrats, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
This portion of Live to Hunt is brought to you by Rosetown Mainline Motors, the king of trucks.
Hey guys, welcome to Live to Hunt's Tips and Tines. I'm your host, Kelsey Robbins. This week we're featuring our good friend Mr. Shane Hunter's biggest archery whitetail to date, a buck we call Rockstar.
Live to Hunt's Tips and Tines is brought to you by Buck Score. Scoring your buck has never been easier.
We had stealth cam pics of this buck early at just 2.5 years old. It's pretty clear why Cody called this buck Rockstar to begin with. This buck had everything he needed to be an absolute giant. At 3.5, Rockstar did not let us down. It's pretty clear to see that this buck would be tempting in anyone's eyes, but that's what this segment is all about, waiting till that buck reaches that magical age of 4.5 where he first begins to reach his peak potential. Go to the Buck Score website today and submit your best guess to Rockstar's total inches of antler using the Boone & Crockett scoring system. Now here's Cody on more of the story of this buck and some helpful tips for you guys to connect on that big one at home. Good luck.
From 2 to 3 years of age, bucks will take a big jump in antler growth, and they can look very impressive. But it's not until they turn 4 that they have their biggest year of putting on bone. It's at this age that they truly come into their own, putting on mass to a once pencil-y frame and adding inches to tines and beams. Keeping records on the Buck Score program at how much bone the average buck puts on at this age will blow your mind. So once a nice buck hits this first year of maturity, we start hunting him. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years to connect, so they grow even more. In this case, the very first night Shane and I set up for Rockstar, everything fell into place like clockwork. The stand we're deciding to go to has a big blackhorn muley buck in the 190s coming in, and out of 3 evenings of pictures, he came in one of those evenings in good daylight. Sitting in a blind at the start of the rut for big muley bucks, that's about as exciting as a night as you can get in a blind. Jeremy, did you get a new hat?
I did. Yeah, good old mossy oak, fits like a glove right out of the package.
I was really disappointing when you noticed the tags were still in.
Yeah, you're like one of those guys that just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, gets his new hat out of the box and puts it on. Buddy, you're gonna think you won the Super Bowl tonight.
I sure hope so.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting night, that's for sure.
Just saw horns coming from behind the willows.
That's it.
Yeah, that's him.
Hard shot. Hard shot. Jay,
Is he down?
he's down. Get over it, you big hunting, buck hunting. You just shot. What was
He's
that?
big, eh?
Jeremy says to me, he says, turn the camera on. There's a big set of horns coming from behind the willows. And that's the exact deer that we were waiting for on the stealth cams. That's the exact buck. 30 yards away, a brand new Bowtech, and Jeremy has only shot it about 12 times today.
Yeah.
30 yards and you hard shot him.
I betcha. That's what I do.
That's what you do. Jeremy and I just split up to try and find his buck before dark. We knew he hard shot him. And I just found him. I didn't walk up to him. I'll let Jeremy walk up to him first. But
We got him?
we got him.
All right.
We got a dinosaur. We're gonna have to hire a train to take him home. How on earth does an evening get any greater than what we just experienced? All the mule deer coming by us, 20 yards away, doing what they naturally do all the time. And then at last light, the king of the jungle comes right at us. That is so unbelievable.
Well, there he is.
You are gonna freak out.
Oh man. Oh. There's a muley buck, buddy.
Wow. What a beauty.
Oh wow, what a buck. He's got such character.
Wow.
He's heavy too and dark.
Just for him to come up over that ridge was just amazing.
Well, he is a king buck. He's got big black antlers, massive beams, huge G2s. He's as tall as the CN Tower, and he's got stickers out each side. He's got a split brow on this side. Is that gnarly or what?
What a buck. He's a great looking deer.
Our very first buck on camera with the Bowtech bows. And when I saw that arrow hit where it did, Jeremy, I'm sorry for body checking you into the wall of the blind, but that is a thrill. That is so cool. And we are so fortunate to see such a beautiful animal such as this tonight. It's a hell of an experience when a deer like this comes over the hill and stands proud and looks at you 30 yards away, surveys the scene and decides that everything is good to go.
Live to Hunt with Cody Robbins is brought to you by Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession. Stealth Cam. It's all about the hunt. Rage and Bowtech. Primos and by Squincher.
To order the new Here Be Kings Mule Deer DVD and other merchandise, go to livetohunt.com.
Next week's previews brought to you by Vortex, the force of optics.
Next week, we're headed to Alberta to spend time with one of my best buds, Dustin Flundra. Dustin is taking out two lucky Alberta residents, Alan Troutman and Arnold Guthrie, for monster Rocky Mountain elk in some of the most breathtaking country in Western Canada. This episode is filled with the giant bugling bulls in the foothills of the Canadian Rockies. See you next week.